Hey everyone, welcome to the story of how I almost died on a water slide. So I am aware that there's sort of a running joke with YouTubers exaggerating events and putting in these super clickbait titles. Like their Uber driver went over a curb and they're like, "I was almost killed in a car accident." But this story is 100% true. I legitimately could have died. But did I? You'll have to keep watching to find out. This story begins about 8 years ago at a Great Wolf Lodge. If you've never been to a Great Wolf Lodge, it's like a resort hotel with a massive indoor water park, complete with everything an indoor water park should have. Kiddie slides. Wave pools that never fail to push you into annoyed adults. Giganto water rides that, no matter how tall I was, the minimum height was always 1 inch higher. Packs of little kids that intentionally run you over. And chlorine. Lots and lots of chlorine. I'm peeing. Ow. They also had some big water slides that ran from the top of a tower maybe 100 feet down to a pool below. Okay, so side note, my memory was that these water slides were like 100 feet off the ground, but I looked at some pictures online and it seems that they're only about 50 feet tall, or equivalent to roughly 4,000 metric systems for those of you outside the US. I guess everything looks bigger when you're super short. Okay, back to the video. My friends and I would always ride these in double inner tubes, but one time I got a little too adventurous and decided to ride alone. Because I was a very small kid, and these one-person inner tubes that looked like a rather large donut to most people looked like a friggin' looming UFO to me. I was intimidated. But I bravely climbed up all 40 billion of those super dangerous concrete steps that lacked anti-slip treads, I'm just saying. This story could very well have been about those if I hadn't had such a tight grip on that handrail. I reached the top, waited in line, hopped in my tube, waited again, this time until the bored lifeguard signaled it was my turn. Ugh, just go or whatever. And off I went. You move a lot faster in the single tubes than in the double ones, so I took advantage of this and leaned into a turn and then quickly pulled up to get some air. I got some good vertical distance too, but when I went to do this for the second big turn, I forgot that part of this particular slide has a segment with no roof, so you're exposed to the air and the ceiling above. Alright, another side note. In this picture I totally own from Google Images, you can see this net to prevent people from falling out. That wasn't there at the Great Wolf Lodge I went to. Maybe they put those in after an incident occurred? I went a bit too aggressive with the second bunny hop and got launched to the side, spluttering and spinning while my once faithful tube betrayed me and darted out of reach. Now this would all have been okay if it weren't for the lack of the slide roof. With all that extra sideways momentum, I went careening back and forth until I slid up and over the edge until, and I have a very distinct memory of this, I saw the ground straight below me. Like not at an angle, but directly beneath me. Many, many feet below. You know how people always say in moments of danger, time seems to slow down? Well, it's totally true. I was halfway out of that slide, couldn't have been for longer than a second, yet I remember having enough time to look down, contemplate my fate, wonder what kind of a cruel world would subject me to this. Pick my nose, check Twitter. Just kidding, you have to be 13 to have a Twitter account. So I checked the Lego.com forums instead. Then all of a sudden, the world seemed to rush back to life, and I went flying into the roof of the slide, luckily falling backwards to the right, safely back into the tube. Had I fell forward to the left instead, the poor janitors would have been peeling me off the cement floor with a spatula some minutes later. I was so shaken by the near miss that when I finally slid out into the pool below, I barely noticed that a lifeguard was yelling at me for not staying in my inner tube. I turned to him and was like, "You don't even know." After that, I returned to my hotel room, recounted the story to my grandmother who didn't believe me, and never touched water again. The end. Anyway, that was the story of how I could have died on a water slide. But I didn't. Twist ending, huh? Could I have died? Yes. Was it likely? Probably not. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. See you next time.